We're gonna start. We're gonna start.
Oh,
We're gonna start
are we? Can I start complaining about Facebook ads?
right now already.
Am I hot? Oh, I am. Oh, goodness me. Hola, ¿cómo está? Muy bien, muy bien. I had a Spanish conversation with myself. How is everybody? I see we have two people watching. I wonder who it could be. I know one of
Hello.
one of them's
Hello.
my buddy Brian, the Mox himself.
What's up, Mox?
Oh, I can put this on now because the mics are hot, so I can hear Edwardo without without leaving a naked ear.
I gotta find my camera.
So I got a Facebook ad as I was going to share the show real quick, and it said 25-pound bucket of freeze dried meat, and that's just too shady for me.
What would you do with 25 pounds of freeze-dried meat? So the 25 pounds would also actually probably with moisture added back to it.
Yeah, what's the wet weight of that?
Well, yeah.
I don't, as a rule, click on Facebook ads because
Right.
I don't like,
Did it say how much it was, or
the
did
zuck.
you even go that deep into it?
Oh no, I didn't even look at the price. But it didn't say what kind of meat it was. That's your first red flag, right? It just says bucket o' meat, and that's terrifying in and of itself. And I was like, it could be horse. I said this before our mics went hot. It could be horse, and I don't eat horse. And then I realized I probably do eat horse because I will swing by the Taco Bell every once in a while.
Well, we know you eat horse.
Touche. That's a prostitute joke for those of you that are keeping up. Is that our? There's our boy
The
Ron.
mics are live.
The mics are live, and he's making prostitute jokes at my expense.
A lot of nerve.
Hey, Ron.
Nerve of this guy. And now Ron's gonna make prostitute jokes at my expense too.
Oh no, I wouldn't dream of it.
But so a bucket of freeze-dried meat, 25 pounds freeze-dried. So when you add moisture, what do you think that would add? I mean, are they like we are? Are they like 85% water?
I don't know.
That's like, could that be an 85% increase in weight?
What is the weight?
The wet weight.
The wet weight, yeah.
The wet weight of 25 pounds of freeze-dried meat. Bing is going to tell us.
Yeah, I'm still using Bing. Don't worry about it.
Still using it.
Don't worry about it.
Freeze-dried conversion. This is awesome. That's a whole site.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go in front of you, Chris.
What does that say? Planned pantry? Holy God.
Or behind you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ron.
Oh,
I
you're okay.
moved
I
shit
thought I
around.
could squeeze through there.
The planned pantry. The basement gourmet.
Where's the meat, though?
Where's-
You got beans and tomato.
Where's the beef? He's like the old lady from...
Yep.
There's nothing. There's no meat in here.
Yeah. That's what she said as she reached... That's what the prostitute said as she reached down the front of my pants. Where's the beef?
I guess we'll never know.
Damn it.
Not with that side, anyway.
Not there. Freeze-dried meat. I'm sure it's different per meat because, Jesus, half the chicken I've eaten in my life has tasted like it was freeze-dried.
I tried researching it, but I get crazy and conflicting numbers.
Freeze-dried meat, what is the weight
90% weight reductions. The others say 2/3.
So 2/3 to 90% weight reduction. So it's 25 pounds of freeze-dried meat. Could be
75
yeah,
pounds. Yeah.
could be anywhere from 75 pounds to almost 100.
Yeah. Wow.
That's a hefty. Wow. 100 calories per ounce, 42 ounce equivalent, which is 2.6 pounds of meat. 2.6 pounds of fatty beef would have the same number of calories as the example came freeze-dried. Wow. I don't know. And could you just, like, chew on it? It would last longer if you just, I'm going to eat this like jerky.
I wonder if it would do that or if it would just kind of like melt apart in your mouth. If it's I think freeze dried, and I think it's just gonna melt, but it probably won't. But it'll probably be like a weird texture, not like jerky though.
I don't know. I was eating a mummy in Egypt once, and it just turned to powder. It was like eating a Carnation instant breakfast without adding
A mummy?
the milk. Yeah. Yeah, Tutankhamun.
What?
What movie is that from about the food will turn to ash in your mouth and shit?
It's Curse of the Black Pearl.
Yeah, that's what it is. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Hey, Johnny Depp, that's timely.
It is.
Absolutely.
God.
Poor bastard.
Oh,
All right.
That's why you don't date younger girls.
so welcome back, fellas.
Yeah, indeed. How is everybody?
I'm good. I'm tired, a little exhausted, but other than that, okay. I've been on my son for the past all of last week. I was on this is my kid that just turned 14.
Yeah.
Like he's been giving you piggyback rides?
No,
Oh.
been on his case.
Oh,
No, he was supposed to mow our lawn, which you can see the front yard's been done, but the backyard is yet to be addressed. And he was actually supposed to mow his grandmother's lawn, his great grandmother's lawn last week, and he kept putting it off, and it was this big thing, and so it got to the point where it was annoying me. And then so finally, Saturday opened up, the weather was good enough that he could do it. It's like the day before his birthday, but he was like, he could go do it. So I take him over there, drop him off. I'm like, you got this under control? And he goes, yeah. So because the first
Dad,
day,
I got this.
he went and did part of it on Wednesday.
spoiler.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And-
the narrator. He did not.
So right.
We haven't heard this story, by the way, but we both have kids around about that age.
Yeah.
Yes. So what happens was Wednesday he goes over and mows, and I go and I'm cooking dinner, and so about the time dinner's and it's spaghetti, and it's about 10 minutes from being done. And he calls me up and he's like, yeah, Dad, I ran out of gas and I forgot to grab the key to the shed that has the gas cans in it. And I was like, okay, well, just let's finish it up tomorrow and I'll run over and get you and bring you home because dinner's about ready. So he's like, okay. So then I get him, bring him home. Thursday comes. I think that's the day the hail came. At any rate, Thursday and Friday were shit for weather.
Yeah,
So-
our weather's
And not to
been
interrupt,
fucking
but
nightmare.
that hail was insane. You sent a video to us.
Dude, yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah.
It didn't do
That was some Wrath of
Mine-
God shit right there.
That was at least one of the plagues of Egypt. I was surprised there weren't any frogs in there.
It was some.
We got frogs at my house.
massive
Yeah.
hail.
It was interesting.
So anyway, so it's Thursday and Friday are canceled out. So he's got to go back to do it Saturday. So before I run him over, I forgot to, or after I run him over, I had plans to run down to Home Depot and do a couple errands downtown before heading back up. So I tell him before we go over, I go, well, why don't we grab our gas can, because I don't know how much gas your great grandma has. She might be close to running out of it. And he's like, no, there's plenty of gas. I looked, and so I was like, okay, trusting him.
Narrator, there was not.
So
See, that's funny because our grandma never runs out of gas.
so I get
That bean dish.
so I'm like, okay, so I get over there, drop him off. I'm like, you good to go? You good to go? He's good to go. So about the second I'm walking through the door at Home Depot, he calls me on the phone. And so just for geography purposes, his great grandma's house is another mile away from my house into the orchards. So
Okay.
it's up on Alder, and so you gotta go up even further into
Yep.
the orchards,
Like
to
20,
get there.
Like almost
20,
the actual
22nd,
back of
23rd Street, right around there.
Well, it's the 1400th block of Alder, so it's
Oh,
not.
okay. It's not quite
but it's,
that far,
but it is.
but
It
it's
is
a ways
actual
fucking
mile
out
to
there.
drive. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so he calls me, says that that's going on, or that he's that he's actually out of gas. And so expletive, lecture falling on deaf ears, but just more of me saying, this is why I asked you, or why I said this, and then I trusted you when you said what you said. And he's like, yeah. So
I'm sorry, Dad.
yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know what else you want me to say, was one of his responses later. But like, well, it's not what I want you to say, and it's more about the fact that we've been doing this lawn mowing thing for the better part of a week now, and this is just another thing to put on top of the already
It's another
mounting issues. Yes, it's like we've been wanting you to get the lawn mowed for the better part of a week and a half.
How to make a one-day project take 7 days.
Yeah, exactly. So I go up, and on the way there, I'm trying to call him back to be like, get a gas can and start heading to the Liberty Mart, so that I'll meet you there, and this will be your penance for your screw up, is you can hike the can of gas back to your grandma's.
Yeah.
Which is like a block and a half or something like that. But so he doesn't answer. By the time I'm almost there, he finally calls me back, and he's like, so there was some gas in there. I did put it in, but I think it was the wrong gas.
Uh-oh.
And so then I know exactly what gas it was. It's the weed eater gas with the
two-stroke
two-stroke
magic
oil in
mixture.
it.
Yep.
And I'm like, so then it's more expletive, even angrier, because he's not reading the writing on gas cans. It's like, it says unleaded gas. I go, yeah, the molded words on there say unleaded gas, but the handwritten Sharpie,
The annotation would clearly.
the handwritten
Someone
annotation
wrote on there not to do that.
yeah. So it says weed eater on it, and so he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I dumped it all out. I got it all out." And I'm like, ugh. So I get there, more lectures, and then I take him to the store. I go, I would have had you do this, but now I feel like I have to come back, put the gas in myself, make sure the lawnmower is going to run, because he's like, it was spitting out white smoke, and so he actually cycled enough gas through the motor to pump some of the weed eater gas through, but he dumped most of it out. So we got it go. He got it most the way out, and so it was diluted enough by the regular gas when I put the new.
Thank God for small
gas
favors.
in. Jeez.
Shit.
So that was my Saturday.
That makes me feel not quite so bad. I had a conversation with, really briefly here, I had a conversation with Matthew this morning about, they alternate his track practices. Some of them get done at 5:15, some of them get done at 4:45. Of course, I don't get out of the office until 5. So today was a 4:45 day. So literally, Matthew, I'm not sure if you're listening yet or not, but I'm putting you on blast here because you're 13 and you're forgetful. It happens. We were all 13-year-old men at one point. I literally, the last thing I said to him before I left for work this morning, except for "I love you, have a good day," was try and get a ride from one of your friends at track. If you can't, call Tori. Whose phone rang at 4:47 actually? Hey, are you coming to get me? No. Oh, like you could hear the light bulbs going off over his head.
That's funny.
What, he got taken care of. It actually worked out anyway, but yeah, God, we all have teenagers now.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, help us all.
it's all right.
No, they're honestly, and especially like comparatively to, really, we're pretty lucky. We've got good kids.
You hear that, Matt?
Oh yeah, love you, Matt. You're a good kid, and I'm really, really, really proud of the man that you're becoming. You just, you're a 13-year-old kid. It happens. Like I said, we were all there, and you have a very busy life right now too, on top of school and track and all the other responsibilities that go on. But
There's one thing I used to do that helped clear my brain.
Are you gonna
Can
go
you
there?
talk about it? Can you talk about it on air, or is this a no-fly zone? Because
Did it involve Jenny McCarthy posting?
right,
Anna Nicole Smith,
good,
Playboys.
good old analog pornography. Pornography. Man, what a week this has been. Holy crap. I have a feeling I love this new job, but I have a feeling it's going to take years of my life.
They all do.
It's it's hectic, but I think it's going to work out really well. Finally found something that, well, I guess I shouldn't say finally found something I'm good at, because I've found a few of those now, but finally found something that I'm good at that'll actually support my life and my kids, which is the important thing. When I went to Tina and Ryan's wedding over the weekend, it was the second time in I think as many weeks that Tina was like very, very enthusiastically trying to strong arm me into coming back. I was like, I'm sorry, but like I already work enough. I work more now working in the office. I work more now than I did when I was working there. And like, as much as there are parts of it that I do miss, man, I am not signing up to work a full-time job and then work Friday and Saturdays at the restaurant on top of it. Like that is not a thing.
Nope,
Yeah.
I don't worship the grind.
Nope. No.
Never have.
Never have. Honestly, probably never will. I think the 5-day, 40-hour-a-week work week is a grossly antiquated idea, and I think that with proper management training and resources available, most people who work that kind of a schedule have absolutely no business working that kind of a schedule. They could do it in significantly less. But you know, what do you do? Go along to get along, right?
Yep. I had something, but I lost it.
This seems like a good segue into our Ask It Manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want me to read this?
I was going to say,
Yes.
yeah, do the deed on that.
All right. This I don't remember where I found it. I think it was on Reddit, but I sent it in to the chat and I said we have to talk about this on the show. So I'm just going to read it in its entirety.
And then we can discuss.
It says, my male coworkers are insisting on taking, quote, period leave. A reader writes, I'm a manager in an overseas office of an American company. About 2/3 of our employees were hired locally, with the remainder, mostly managers, having relocated from the United States. Under local law, women are allowed 1 day off per month to care for menstrual symptoms. Women wishing to use this benefit are required to give notice by the start of the workday that they will be absent. Manager approval is not required, and it will not count against their leave balance. Our legal division, based back in the States, determined that this local rule is unfair because it, 1, constructively requires women to disclose their menstrual health status by virtue of invoking that leave category, and 2, it is discriminatory because it provides a benefit to women that men do not receive. I disagree with point 1 on the basis that it is technically disclosing their health status anytime they require sick leave, and no one seems to mind that. Point 2 feels very, quote, why is there no White History Month, end quote, to me, but okay. Anyway, the legal division advised that we have to extend this benefit to all local employees. So now, even though local law does not require it, our branch has a policy that any locally employed member of the staff can take an unscheduled day off every single month, no question to ask, which I think is awesome. That's my aside. Note, this law was the result of years of women's rights advocacy. The letter of the law is not perfect, since it obviously not all women menstruate, and not all people who menstruate consider themselves women. Local law, controversially, does not acknowledge transgender, non-binary, and intersex persons, but the spirit of it was definitely meant to accommodate menstruation and did not contemplate cisgender men availing themselves of period leave. Women workers here use an honor system and take it very seriously, the need to only invoke this leave category when they truly need it for fear of ruining it for others. This is becoming a mess. I have had no issues with the women on my team, but a locally employed man on my team, who has made it clear he is not a trans man, is clearly misusing this
How
leave.
does one make it clear?
category. I think we've all made it abundantly clear that we're not trans men.
Then you get into the discussion of, is that something you can talk to your HR department even about?
Yeah.
Where's the legality in that?
Right.
For example, we were closed for a holiday on Thursday and again the following Monday. He took, quote, period leave, quote, the Friday in between, even though it left us in the lurch for a big meeting that day, in which he had a key role. Everyone knows he did that just to give himself an extra long weekend, during which he openly went on a pre-planned vacation. When I tried to level with him offline, as in, quote, dude, you know this leave category is meant for women. What are you doing, end quote. He looped in HR, who warned me that I'm not allowed to question an employee's use of period leave. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. You are, bitch, but not not the crazy pills you think
not
you're
the ones
taking.
you think you're taking.
Women had started calling these leave days, quote, Mother's Day, to be delicate. When my
Or you could just call it a personal day. You know, that's all the whole fucking concept of personal days.
When my mail
whatever.
direct report called out last week, he said he was taking a Father's Day, but HR confirmed that that's not a thing. It's still period leave. It's just that men are also entitled to it. Are we really just stuck with this ridiculous rule? I'm ready to write to legal to suggest an alternative interpretation, but I'm not sure what alternative will satisfy both the spirit of the local law and U.S. non-discrimination laws. A local friend in another industry told me that her company has a rule that period leave cannot be taken on a Friday, Monday, or adjacent to a holiday. While that solves part of the problem, what if someone really does happen to have a debilitating menstrual cramps on one of the blackout days? I'd love to hear your input and that of your readers. I think that is hilarious on like 97 different levels.
So they're mad that this guy figured out a way to exploit a loophole in their system.
That every guy in the company is exploiting.
Whoop-de fucking do.
And she thinks she's taking crazy pills, which I totally agree with. I think
Yeah.
I think she's crushing up crazy pills and snorting them.
Well, so if okay, so yeah, it's a biological thing that women go through. But if there's been a day, I agree with the U.S. take on it for fairness. If there's been a day that's been designated as a one day a month that you can take off.
Yeah, it's
For
12
personal
days
leave?
a year. Okay.
Why is that a problem?
Yeah.
No, yeah. One, why is it a problem? And two, like I said, don't call it period leave. Don't call it Mother's Day. Don't try to be cute with it. Just call it a fucking personal day and move on.
Yeah.
And
you get one personal
the
day
other-
a month.
Why
other
is this
thing
guy?
is-
Why was this guy scheduling a meeting around when he knew he was going to be taking vacation? That seems like
Oh,
just
he did. He wasn't taking a vacation. He knew he was going to use his personal day that day.
No, but
And-
she mentioned that he used that personal day to take a pre-planned vacation. If it was a pre-planned vacation, why was he scheduling a meeting for that day that he knew he was not intending to be there? That seems like
I don't think he
I don't
that
think
seems
he
like
scheduled-
incompetence.
He didn't.
I don't
didn't
think he
schedule that
scheduled
meeting.
it. I think
They
he was
scheduled that
scheduled
meeting.
in that
Oh,
meeting.
and we're like, yeah,
Yeah.
you're going to be vital to this, so you need to be there.
Yeah.
And, well,
He knew
that's
he was
again
gonna use his day that
incompetence. That's fucking communicate with your people and say, no, we're going to schedule it for Tuesday or
Yeah.
something.
Don't
like,
schedule that for the day in between two holidays.
Yeah.
Because people are going to take sick days that day.
yeah.
Even if it doesn't count against my leave.
Yeah.
Or even if it does count against
This-
my leave, I'm going to take a sick day that day.
This sounds
yeah.
this sounds to me like a person who is upset about the fact that people have figured out a loophole in their system. It's like the
And to have the same thing that they're having.
Yeah.
And so
she had
now it's
something that
equal.
made her special, and now everybody gets it, and so she doesn't get to
and
be
so
special
she's not special
and she's
anymore.
hurt.
Yeah.
She's hurt.
And
It's like every other thing we've discussed lately
Well-
about people. What did I say the other day on? It was a broad Facebook post, but it was after this Roe v. Wade thing got leaked, and I said it's quick. It's funny how quickly the anti-vaxxers are saying, wait, I want to control your body.
Yeah, yeah.
And the people who were trying to get and the same people who wanted everybody to get a vaccine, to be forced to take a vaccine, are now saying, well, you can't tell me what to do with my body.
Yeah, exactly.
What if I accidentally get pregnant? Well, maybe you should not accidentally be fucking.
It's keep your laws off my body unless it's something that I'm okay with, and then, well, maybe there's some wiggle room.
Yeah,
and
there is no
a crock
wiggle room.
of shit.
Like,
is what it
nobody
is.
should be doing anything, making choices for anybody else's body for any reason.
No.
As much as I
Nope.
hate abortion, absolutely hate abortion.
Don't support it, don't
Quote
like
me
it, but
on
people
that.
should still be able to do
But
it.
it's none of my business.
Nope.
I would never suggest it. I would never support it. I would never pay for one. I would fight anybody I impregnated.
Where do you
I'll take the kid as soon as you give birth to it.
Where do you start drawing the line of people who reject cancer treatment? You know, people who are like, oh, well, I don't want to deal with chemo and surgeries and this and that and the other. I'd rather
Totally
just
their choice.
I'd rather just die. Yeah, that's
Well, you
their
have
choice.
to. We're the
But then
government,
you can't have
so-
people stepping in and being like, no, that's not in your personal best interest, so you can't refuse treatment. Same fucking line of
Yeah.
thinking. Exact same line of thinking.
Yep.
It's a crock of shit.
None of their business because it's their body.
Well, and so like the first thing
Are they hurting anybody?
But
Nope.
they just traded playbooks.
Yeah,
and they're both
exactly.
arguing the same thing. That amount of cognitive dissonance has to hurt.
It's impressive.
has to hurt.
It's impressive.
Like, it's probably physically painful.
we're in a position, or we're our country right now is looking for things to just be upset about.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Well, yeah,
there was.
that
Did you
people
see
in
that?
general are that way
Did you
now.
see that BFG art where, it was cropped funny, so it looks like the big friendly giant.
Yeah.
Like an illustration from the book has it cropped funny, so it looks like almost not the BFG, but some big monster that's hovering over the BFG. I haven't read the book forever, but turns out it's a hand, but it looks like they have it cropped funny, so the finger looks, or it's a finger, but it looks like a wang.
yeah.
And so then everybody's making a thing about it because it's the internet. We don't check things to see if if it's real or not. We just assume it's bad, and so then we're going to try to cancel Roald Dahl.
If there is one thing you can learn from Reddit, it's that people only read the headlines, not the actual article.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let's get angry.
yeah.
So with the
Feed me outrage porridge.
right with that Ask a Manager, my first reaction was the government influence, the whole, or the workplace influence, where they're like, well, we have to have our say over the local law. It's like, well, no, we don't.
Nope.
But at the same time, I get the reason. Like they weren't saying they're going to overwrite the law. They're just going to say, they were trying to say that we're going to try to make it fair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't see any reason why that's harmful. And if you did something like that anyway and encouraged people to plan that day,
Yeah.
more than likely most people will plan something around that day.
Yeah.
You know what I've discovered?
Because I make appointments around
Well, yeah.
things like if I have a day coming up, I'm like, okay, well, this is when I'm going to make.
I have discovered
done.
in my advancing age, the more that I become what I consider to be like an adult, where you talk about Roth IRAs and 401ks and mortgages and stuff, grown up people shit. God help
NFTs
God help people that want to do things that are fair.
Jeez.
Seriously. Anything that people try to do in this day and age, it seems like if you genuinely set out with the intent of making it fair for everyone, you will get borderline fucking crucified. It's silly. It's really, really silly. Nobody has any interest in fairness. Everybody only cares about their own selfish wants and needs.
Absolutely.
Look at I had a very brief conversation with one of the supervisors at the local post office the other day because my mail got delivered by a guy in a polo shirt and slacks, and I made a comment about it. I was like, man, you're dressed awful nice to be delivering the mail. And he's like, oh, that's because I'm a supervisor. And I was like, okay, so you've gotten to the point now where you have enough people figuring out that they can get out of having to work overtime and stuff. That's not, you can't blame people who are being abused by the system when they find a way around it.
Right.
Like you just, I don't understand the logic behind it. You can't try to punish somebody for figuring out a loophole.
No.
That's
especially not in a place with as an abusive
yeah. Yeah,
a union as the post office.
dude,
had.
it's oh my gosh.
Well, and you talk about
I may like I borderline miss the money, but God, I do not miss working at that place.
you talked about
What a nightmare.
everybody looking out for number one.
Yeah.
Basically, we all
That's all
are.
it is.
Well, this is the article I shared earlier, the BuzzFeed news article.
Oh yeah, I didn't get a chance to read
It's
that.
titled "The Future of Work Still Sucks." Just ask working parents is the title.
Yeah.
And then it says, ask working parents, but then it just goes on to write about women. And I
They're
hate
the only
to
ones that are parents.
I hate to be the guy that I don't like to be the guy that rings the fucking women men comparison bell, but it gets rung an awful lot from the other side of the.
Yep.
Yeah, because we're oppressors.
I know, but anyway, so millions of women left the workforce during the pandemic. Many of them are back and confront the same problems that drove them out in the first place. Carrie Borda, a project manager with 2 young children in Washington, said she was wrecked when her employer suddenly laid off her boss in 2021, despite her view that her team was excelling. Within hours of his departure, managers were on the phone with Borda offering a promotion, which she saw as a sugar-coated request to take on additional workload. So they fired him. So they fired a man and then offered to give a woman a promotion, and she's looking down her nose at it because it's more work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they were going to give it to her because they pay women 74 cents on the dollar.
Right,
Dude,
that's a 2003 statistic. In my mind,
Well played, Ward.
my mind, after that happened, I was like, I don't have a future here, she said. Why am I putting everything into this to know that the work really isn't valued?
You don't have a future when you turn down promotions.
And you don't have a future anywhere because
It's tenuous at best.
life is
Tomorrow you could find out that
Right.
you've got 3 weeks to live
yeah, I mean, I
or 3 days to
The
live.
sun
whatever
could fart
cancer
tomorrow
is
and we could all
cooking
be
inside
dead.
of you
Yeah.
is just, it's a matter of time before the timer dings. But so Borda considered all the times she felt the stress of deadlines while her 5 and 3-year-old kids demanded attention and snacks, those little bitches.
Oh God.
The many hours of sleep that she had missed
Kids
because her
and their needs.
work days were being stretched out, the pounds she had lost because she was forgetting to eat in the chaos of daily life, which is
An American
Poor
loses
thing.
pounds.
Man,
I'm
they're
sure
painting-
she
I
was-
was
They're painting a
was
picture
in
here.
a bad place, and something had to change. She said a few weeks later she resigned after 6 years with the company. She decided not to jump into another job right away and take a pause in life, as she described it. It was March, and Borda was among 13 women who I had spoken to over the previous 2 weeks who left the workforce during the pandemic. Women, but the title of the article,
Dude,
I want to remind
parents,
you,
yeah.
parents.
Yeah.
But we're just
Dude,
talking to women right
I've,
now.
I've mentioned this on the show in the past, but I spent a lengthy period of time back when I was still married being like officially Mr. Mom, because my wife at the time was working in the medical field and making a salary that was like justifiable for one of us not to work.
I did
Because
for over
why-
6 months
you know,
because
why-
I was unemployed. And
Why pay for childcare when, you know, that kind of thing? Every single interview that I had once I decided to rejoin the workforce, every single one of them didn't just take, oh, well, so you were a stay-at-home dad for this time? Yeah, there was follow-up questions. Why?
yeah,
Was there a reason why you did that? Yeah, they don't ask. And again, I'm in the same boat as you, Ward. I don't really like to be the one to ring that bell because I think it gets rung more often than it should.
well, I want to rise above that.
And I want to be better than
I
that.
know.
Yeah, exactly.
I love Wally.
We know.
But yeah, we anybody who listens enough knows. But
My bread and butter.
they don't fucking ask a woman that question.
No.
If she says, "Oh, I was off because my newborn was born and then I didn't go back to work for 18 months,"
Right.
they say, "Oh, well, how's your little one doing?"
Because
That's
that
the
came out
follow-up
of your
question.
vagina
Yeah,
and it
you-
didn't come out of his dick.
Yeah,
so
it's a-
he couldn't
Well,
have
yeah, it did,
anything
but
to
it
do.
was
It's
fun.
such a crock of shit.
But
Such a crock of shit.
But well, no, I had the same issue when I had to. I was on unemployment for 6 months, and so at one point, because a period of time finally had lapsed where I was still drawing my unemployment,
Yeah.
they wanted me to come down to job services
Oh yeah.
and
The
sit down with
Department of Labor.
Department of Labor,
Yeah.
and sit down with a guy who could help me.
Re-enter the workforce.
Well, help me with my bone up my resume, make it like,
Yeah.
let's add some flair to that bitch.
Yeah.
And they did.
Let's get you noticed.
Get you some pieces.
He
of
did
flair.
help me with updating some of the formatting to be more current with like the
Yeah.
contemporary trends
Yeah.
at the time, because I'd been carrying the same resume from like
Your
high school.
class in 10th grade.
basically
Just updating the information.
just
as it
updating
goes.
the
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
And it's stayed pretty constant, but there was one thing that he had pointed out, which was doing like bulleted lists
Yeah.
of the skills instead at the top of the resume.
Yeah.
And then there's less description and
that
redundancy
was,
throughout
that was
the
one
body.
of the first things I learned when I started. The internet taught me that.
Yeah.
That guy at the Department of Labor, but yeah, same difference.
Well, and it was a no-brainer thing. It's like, it just, when he said it, it was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
And so when you are using the same resume for years and years, you just think, well, this is what I was supposed to do, and this is the correct way.
Yeah.
But things change. But anyway, so the one thing he goes is like, well, we need to find a way to explain your gap in employment.
Yeah, because simply
Because-
saying that I
Right,
was at
just-
home with my
I
children
ran an OnlyFans.
is not
Yeah.
an
was an
acceptable
entrepreneur.
response for some reason. I don't know. It's
And I can't remember how I have it on my resume, but it's something, it's like,
it's a
it's weird.
It's got to be far enough back now. You don't even have to put it
yeah.
on.
No,
I
I don't think so.
But
But yeah,
No.
so here, okay, so it was March, and Borda was among 13 women I had spoken to over the previous 2 weeks who left the workforce during the pandemic. Among the millions of women who had done so, we were witnessing a shift in the American workplace equality, and I wanted to know how they were experiencing this transition. I asked how the pandemic had changed the culture of work. It hadn't, they concluded. That's why they needed to step away from it. I didn't foresee how personal these choices would soon become for me. Now, this is the writer talking.
She's got a fucking brittle spirit.
So, this is the writer talking, and then it turns back to, this is all about me now.
Yep.
How does this impact me?
yeah.
I don't care about these women. I'm just writing articles, and
Yeah.
now I have to. And not 24 hours after Borda and I spoke, BuzzFeed, my employer for the last 7 years, announced that it would downsize its new operation and offer voluntary buyouts to the dozen of journalists across the handful of teams, including me. This is not your fault, our editor-in-chief, who resigned amid these changes, wrote in an email that day. BuzzFeed, which had just gone public in December and made $25.9 million in annual profit, said the decision was aimed, and it's not profit based on good journalism, because their fucking articles are dog shit.
I was going to say BuzzFeed and good journalism.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
oil and
caught
water.
off guard. My annual review had just gone well, and I felt good about the work I was doing.
I was feeling good.
I had managed to dodge previous rounds of cuts and stayed employed through the first and hopefully worst years of the pandemic. I saw two options: take the voluntary buyout and jump off the cliff into a volatile economy, or try to stick around and see if I'd eventually be pushed off. Yeah, you probably eventually will, unless you remain agile and able to maneuver within the workforce and stay relevant. If you
Yeah.
can't be relevant and
Yeah.
flexible in the way
Yeah.
you work, then yeah, you're gonna get phased out. They're
Yep.
gonna look at you and be like, oh, that's just a body.
Yep.
I can fill that space with another body. If they see more value in what you're doing, you have better chances, but it's still, at the end of the day, everybody is a body.
And depending on how you handle the situation and conduct yourself with the situation, you're not just a body, you're a nuisance.
Exactly.
And they will happily fucking shrug off a nuisance anytime.
Yep.
Like, I don't know.
Well, and the reason they're so apt to get rid of females is men have the same problems as females, but almost without fail, men do not complain about it as much. We're not as vocal about it, and that's the main difference. Like, people are people, and in general, people suck, but women complain about it. They get vocal about it, and that's why 9 times out of 10, I would rather just work with a group of guys, even if they won't put out the same quality of work. I would rather work with a group of guys because I don't have to fucking listen to it. Now, there are women who are exceptions. I know a bunch of them, and they're fantastic people. But in general, on average, women are going to complain more. And by God,
It's starting.
it sucks.
It's starting. Like, the process of that kind of shifting is starting, but that is a mentality that has been part of America and American culture. Like, it's bred in us and has been really since the fucking late 1700s when the country was founded. Like, a lot of those things about men being stoic and women being emotional and those kind of things, those are all principles that whether you like to say it or not, a lot of those things are simple fundamental ideas that a lot of the country was founded on, and we're just finally getting away largely because of women's rights movements and stuff like that. We're getting away from stuff like that, and I think it'll start to balance out a little bit more. But the trick of it is, in balancing out more, all it does is present itself a new set of
It's a new
bullshit.
set of issues.
There's just a new set of bullshit to deal with.
It will cycle back because you can already see it in smaller communities like ours, because I see more women in like we see a lot on TV and media about women speaking outwardly and feeling oppressed and stuff.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of women locally that are content to be subservient to their husband to the degree that they're happy to be the housekeeper,
Yeah.
the homemaker and stuff like that. They like the pretty Pinterest look, the Facebook posts where everything.
They want to be
what's
Instagram
happening.
wives.
Yeah,
that's what they want to do, and the fact that people want to crucify them for it, I think, is really shitty. There's nothing wrong with wanting that to be your life, as long as you're upfront about it. And
there shouldn't. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be successful or wanting to be.
There's not.
Like, there's nothing wrong with anything you have ambition towards.
No.
But we seem to think that we need to all put ourselves in these little buckets of who we are as people. And if you're a woman that wants to keep house for your husband, that makes you weak. That means you're weak.
Yeah, you get these shoulder pad wearing power women who are like, but you could be so much more. And it's like, I don't want to be quote unquote more.
And I'm glad you are. I'm glad you are.
Happy for you. Good for you. But that's not what I want. This is what I want to do. And those posturing power women, for lack of a better way of putting it, literally are like, oh, well, you're ashamed of the fucking female gender.
Nope, but that's not
It's
what
like,
men
no,
want.
it's not.
I guarantee that's not what men want.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Because that's a masculine behavior, and dudes don't want masculine behavior.
Heaven forbid. I said for a very long time, I was very happy. I'm very, in a lot of ways, domesticated, kind of feminine. I like being the housekeeper. Honey, you go to work. You go put up with the fucking real world and deal with all those people and do the work. I'll happily stay home.
I
with
do
the
all
kids,
the meal
cook
prep
clean
and shit
all
like
kind
that.
of, like, I will happily do that. But you get.
But that power, I want to be everything, superwoman thing. Dudes don't want that.
Yeah.
It's intimidating to a lot of men. Anyway, I don't know.
I just don't find it attractive. I don't think it's intimidating. I don't think it's sexy.
I just think there's a lot of secondary characteristics that usually go with that mentality. I don't find that mentality off-putting, but 9 times out of 10, if you find somebody who has that mentality, there are other aspects of their personality tied to that just make them fucking super off-putting.
Insufferable.
I like
Yeah.
women and women, though.
There's nothing wrong. As I mentioned in the chat, which maybe this is a good way to seg into Doctor Strange, but I don't get the argument about it. Wanda was a strong character who happened to be female, not a quote unquote strong female character.
Right.
There's there is a very, very definitive difference between those two things. And there's also a tremendous amount of, in my personal opinion, like appeal to me between those two things. The strong female characters who are just basically male character, they're written like male characters. They are male characters, except for the fact that they're women. That shit's fucking off-putting to me. That's not. It's not normal. It's not natural. It's not. I don't know. It's weird.
I don't like how they make it feel so forced. But when you put in MCU the other day,
Yeah.
I was like, how did I never hear that before? Like,
I saw that too. I was like, well played,
that's
Will.
so right on.
I wish I could claim ownership of that, but I don't remember where it was that I heard that. But it's,
I'd never seen it anywhere.
Yeah, I don't remember where it was that I saw it.
When
but-
did that first occur? Was that in the last Avengers movie, Infinity War, or Endgame?
It's right in that area. It was kind of a combination of Captain Marvel and the girl power scene in Endgame.
And
It's those two
did
things
Black
in
Panther have a
conjunction.
girl power scene too, or did it not?
Shuri's a very off-putting character.
Well, she's also a very off-putting human,
Yeah.
from what I understand.
Oh, is she?
From what I understand, I
is
don't
that
know her.
actress that way?
I don't know her, but
And see, and I feel exactly the opposite about Okoye and her actress.
dude, she's badass.
She is.
She's fucking badass.
She's funny. She's a strong character, and
Which one's which?
She's not just she's not just
Yeah, she's the
strong
one
because
that's
she's a
Michonne.
woman.
I love
That's
Michonne.
the thing.
I've liked Michonne since she showed up on Walking Dead.
Is it Danny Guerrera?
Yeah.
I think is her
Something
name.
like that.
Something like that. She's a good actress.
I
She's
think
really
she's
talented.
fantastic.
And she plays great characters. Like you said, Michonne is a fantastic, complex character that,
and a believable badass bitch.
yeah,
Yeah.
she
That's-
is. It's, yeah.
She
And that's
seems
the other-
legitimately tough.
That's the other thing is you see like,
And one thing about that show, Rick's wife dies, which she would have died.
Yeah.
yeah,
That character was destined to die.
Yep.
In that universe.
yep.
Yeah. Well, and
Not
that's
to
another-
give that because I have a lot of problems with the show, but also I
Another
like a
boost
lot
to
of
that
aspects
show.
to it.
Carol wins by being smart,
And cunning, yeah.
not
And
by
it was an evolution to her
physical-
And
character.
you look at where she was in season 1.
Yeah.
And compared to, and I haven't even watched the show in several seasons now, but even from where she had gotten to when I stopped watching, talk about a character arc, talk about growth. Like, that's good fucking character development. Her gender plays absolutely no role in the quality of it. It just plays a role in she responds, and I'd probably get nailed to the wall for saying this on like Twitter or something where a lot of people could hear it, but she has a very, it's like Linda Hamilton in Terminator or Sigourney Weaver in Alien. Like, everybody uses them as the prime examples of strong women, but they act the way that you would kind of expect a woman to act, not to be like grossly overgeneralizing or anything like that. But Atomic Blonde is a really great example in my eyes. And it's one of the things that made me love Charlize Theron even more is that movie, you completely buy in every scene that not only is it as hard as it is for her to whoop those guys' asses, but you can actually believe that she does it. She is not just some Captain Marvel, Rey Skywalker type character who's just, oh, well, I have lady parts, so I'm good at everything. Like, you know.
By the way, do you have your post from a couple weeks ago about strong women characters?
Oh,
Because that actually calls back to that, really.
I'd have to pull it up. Give me a second here. I got a lot of good responses to that, and I also got a lot of responses that, like we mentioned earlier, about people reading the headline and not the article. I feel like a lot of people that read it really stopped at the first sentence of "Tell me a strong female character."
Yeah, I saw that too. Well, that was where I was like, I don't agree with all of these.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that I really don't agree with at all.
But you have to like toe that line of.
Well,
being
yeah, you don't
polite.
want to.
Like, yeah, absolutely.
And you know, you try to give more enthusiastic responses to the ones that you actually agree with. But yeah, I wrote.
Oh, see, I get right in people's hostile faces.
I said, here's a question for you, Facebookers. When you think of a strong female character in movies or TV, what characters come to mind? What about them specifically? And this was the important part to me that, like I said, I think a lot of people kind of glossed over. But what about them specifically appeals to you as opposed to other allegedly, quote, strong female characters? And you got a lot of good responses, but then there was a lot of Gary, my friend that lives over in Puyallup, God bless him. Not only did he give some really good answers, but he even lifted a quote directly from Princess Leia that I absolutely fucking love from New Hope. Someone's got to save our skins. Mm-hmm. Everything was falling apart when they were in the trying to rescue her in the detention area, and she was just like, "You guys aren't doing anything. Fuck this. I'm fixing it." That's what I'm talking about. But then you get,
because girls get it done.
Then you
shit, you Nazi bitch.
The problem is then you get people who they don't understand the question, and they just are like, "Oh, well, this is a character that I connected with," and it's like, no, that wasn't the question I was asking.
Yeah, it's because when girls answer questions, they answer.
It's more of that. Read the headline.
I'll answer what I want to answer.
Read the headline, not the article thing, but. No, it's, I don't know. As we discussed in the chat a little bit, I do agree with you. I think America, if they were going to have her America Chavez be as much of a front and center character as she was, I would have liked a little bit more depth and development for her. But that movie was already so over. It wasn't overstuffed like Spider-Man 3 was, where it's just like, man, this is a fucking mess. But it was really close. It was towing the line of like, there's too much going on in this movie.
Yeah. We were talking.
Didn't detract from the fact that I love the movie, but
can we talk about the mole?
Rachel McAdams.
Oh,
where the fuck did that come from?
I
thought that was some Sam
maybe she should have it looked at by
I'm worried about her because I think she might need to go to a dermatologist.
Yeah.
She was playing a doctor. She could have taken care of that.
She's like, I've got this mole.
Yeah.
Reed Richards was right there.
Right.
No,
Wanda could have fixed it.
If you look at her earlier work when she was younger, I don't think that was. If it was there, it was certainly less prominent. It's
man,
growing.
I'd have to look. I don't remember.
If it was,
I swear to God, I would have noticed it.
I don't think if it was there, she covered it up. She concealed it, or makeup artists concealed it,
or they CG'd it out.
Savage and Austin Powers shit, though.
Yeah. Mole.
Absolutely was. But I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I'm not blowing you, I promise.
Thank you. Wouldn't only be gross, it'd be incest.
Another beer.
But the
I'd have handed you one.
Oh, that's all right.
He would have. Yeah, that thing was just straight up out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, and there were points where it was like 3-dimensional.
Well, that was supposed to be seen in 3D. So I almost wondered if they put that there.
No.
When Kevin Feige talked about how they leaned into the 3D in this movie, we didn't know they were talking about her mole.
Right. It's all just the mole. Any scenes with Rachel McAdams and her mole. But no, everything else looks 2D.
Yeah, right.
The mole scenes. But you'll notice that they only focus, or you could only see it on that first bit of the movie where she was in her wedding stuff.
The wedding scene.
And then after that, they had her hair covering it up.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It was off-putting. Very distracting.
I really liked that scene. Michael Stuhlbarg is a great actor anyway, but that scene at the wedding where he was talking to Doctor Strange, it's like, I'm good, by the way. Thanks for asking. I really liked that. I love all those little scenes that we've gotten through, not just through that movie, but through other stuff, like post-snap. The effects that it's had on some people. Mm-hmm. I like how they've handled it in a lot of ways, because there would be so many people that would feel that way of like, you saved the world and you saved everything, but like, are you aware of what it cost me in order for you to do that?
But it cost him 5 years too.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't,
and he said that.
Yeah,
I'm glad he stuck up for himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Regard.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you, you weird-looking little troll man.
Dude, I suffered too.
I
fuck
was gone for 5 years.
Yeah.
Too. And you know what? It felt we were all just gone.
Yeah.
and then we were all just back. So why don't you calm down?
Well, I liked it's one of the better scenes in Black Widow. When was it in Black Widow? No. It was in Hawkeye. When you get to see Yelena get dusted and then come back, and it's just like happens in the span of a couple seconds, and everything changes around her and stuff. Like I thought that was cool. Well done. It was really refreshing. I didn't realize how long it's been since I'd seen a Sam Raimi movie.
Well, he hasn't put one out.
He hasn't done one for fucking ever, like 10 years, 12 years or something like that.
9.
Was it 9?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The Drinker put out another thing. He's finally seen it. I was
Tori-
right. He hadn't seen it when those guys were
Oh,
discussing
really?
it. So he didn't see it with fresh eyes. He saw it after that team of people that he was watching.
Can't do that, man.
And I don't know. I'm still very much Team Wanda. Like, that dude on Screen Crush, I sent the video, that argument of why everything Wanda did in WandaVision was justified. I'm totally on board with that argument. I think it's very correct. And I'll stand by it. If I had that kind of power, I would not be subtle.
Well, and I think that people really, she makes the comment in Multiverse of Madness about how this was me being reasonable.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people underestimate, like, she could have been a lot worse. She really, honestly, like, was it great? No, not ideal, but was it a lot better than what she could have done?
Yeah, was that Schumacher
Yeah.
Wrath-looking motherfucker probably her being subtle?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, right.
Because her going after people, we saw what that looked like. She lit that dude on fire.
Yeah.
Or that somebody.
Yeah.
She lit somebody on fire. She lit 4 or 5 somebody's on fire. She was
Yeah.
throwing dragon tanks at people. Like,
Yeah.
she was getting in people's heads like she did in the early Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah,
hasn't
when
done
she
that in a
was
while.
when she was given the Avengers little hallucinations and stuff.
She turned.
Like-
Hey, spoilers, folks. We're not going easy on this fucking thing. She turned Mr. Fantastic into spaghetti.
Oh
She made
yeah,
Black
dude.
Bolt blow his own head up.
And then that was the thing that I liked. Not only did she turned him entirely into spaghetti and then made his head explode.
Yeah.
I was like, man, what a fucking icing on the cake. God damn.
and made Black Bolt blow his own head off.
Yeah.
And then for some reason decided to hand fight Captain Carter.
See, there was a couple.
Did you catch her? I can do this all day.
Yeah.
And then sliced her in
get-
And
half
then
Yeah.
she cut her in half.
with her own shield.
That. So now the thing that irritates me is, you know, in our.
If she can do that in that universe, why couldn't she have done that to our heroes in our universe?
Very true. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense from a storytelling standpoint of what you just said. Why is she literally shredding Mr. Fantastic and then fist fighting with Captain Carter? Like
because she can.
It just
Because she can.
Yeah.
Well, and she hasn't been so she hasn't been put in a situation in our universe,
The main MCU.
the main MCU,
616.
where she would have to face off with our heroes.
Yeah.
Right.
That way.
Yeah.
In that manner. But I have a hard time believing, I don't know, and I'm just overthinking it, but it was very swift in her exacting those punishments.
Well, the amount of power that growth that she's experienced from when we first met her in Age of Ultron, like especially after the events of WandaVision in general, and then on top of that, getting the corrupted power of the Darkhold on top of it, like the amount of power that she's gained from Age of Ultron to now is. Why didn't she shred people when they were fighting in Civil War? Because probably she didn't even realize she could.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
honestly.
And
Well, she didn't have
she's-
that power yet either
and
because
she's got the Darkhold now.
Yeah.
And I know that she wasn't at full power because she was dreamwalking or whatever the fuck they called it.
Yeah.
Which, Hey, Grimsy! And so in the main universe, in her real body, she's probably light years more powerful.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know. I've seen some interesting theories as to where she's at now. Like maybe Kang came and grabbed her.
The one thing that
before
I've
she's
seen,
gone, and he's gonna go prune the universe with her, or maybe Immortus did it, or
one thing that I've seen mentioned a couple times that I do think is a valid point to bring up is, where the fuck is Vision? Like,
Well, isn't he just dead?
no, the White Vision
Oh,
from the
Yeah.
end of WandaVision.
I assume that there'll be
I mean, I
another season of WandaVision.
I trust and am confident. Yeah, see, there it is.
there
A
it is.
lot smaller there,
but
though.
it's not nearly.
it's
as
not. And
It's
I had
growing.
to-
But
I
she's only
listen.
27 years old.
I had to
Yeah.
hunt for that because every other frame from that movie, her hair
over
covers it up.
Covers it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
she's a
surprised.
plastic.
I'm not surprised.
Plastics can't show flaws.
That was one point that I did see made that I thought was at least, oh yeah, see there, it's totally
I'm sure you
covered
were
up,
sad
totally
having to
covered
go
up.
frame by frame in that flick.
Right. Oh
Yeah.
man, I have to look at all these pictures of Rachel McAdams. What a bummer.
All three of those girls were considerably older than the 17 or whatever the hell they were
Right.
playing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's nothing new. That was one of the things that I really appreciated about America Chavez.
Isn't that girl like
She's 16.
16?
She was
Yeah.
born in 2006.
Jesus?
I Googled it to
She's
find out.
2 years older
She's-
than my son.
Yeah.
She was
right?
two. She was two when Iron Man came out.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Wait, no, Iron Man came out in
Oh wait.
2008.
2008.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
she
she was
was two.
two. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
1.5, 2 years.
Man. Yeah, that's fucking wild.
Old. Yeah. Alex had just been born when Iron Man came out.
Again, I gotta say, I mentioned it in the chat, but for being a 16-year-old kid and being in a film with some of those people, I mean, Benedict Cumberbatch, Elizabeth Olsen, like there's a fucking pedigree of really fucking talented people in the movie.
Yeah.
And I think she held her own pretty well.
I wonder how many of them have done coke with Johnny Depp.
Well, we know one Vision has.
We do know Vision has.
Right.
That's come out of the trial of the.
I love him when they ask him about the box. I can't remember how it gets asked in that in court, but he goes, "It looks like it would hold some cocaine."
Oh yeah, yeah,
it would hold
yeah.
some cocaine.
Yeah, you could. It's like the SNL thing. Yeah, you could put your weed in there. I can neither confirm nor deny. And yes, sorry, Matt. Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. I think Black Bolt's thing I think that might have been my favorite death in the movie because that was creative and
Yeah.
cool as fuck. Like.
Well, it was quick.
Yeah,
And just
yeah, set the tone real fast.
right on to the next guy.
I thought the I don't know, you call her variant, whatever. The alternate Captain Marvel, I thought hers was a little bit weak. Like, really, she's gonna get crushed
She got crushed by a
statue,
was
and that's
fucking
it.
lame.
Like, okay, that seems kind of weak.
Professor X's was my.
Well,
favorite.
and so
That
if
was,
she-
dude.
She snapped
So
his neck in his mind so hard that his actual neck snapped. That
so
was awesome.
that part and the part when she like shot her arm out of the gong. That was like,
Yeah.
I don't jump scare easily. And those both got me.
Alex leaned
Where I
over
was
to
like,
me
whoa.
and goes, hey, there's gonna be a jump scare, I know it. And then she comes out the gong,
Dude, that was, yeah.
and he goes, jump scare.
well, what was the okay? So
Oh, and Grimsey, just so you know, allegedly, according to Kevin Feige, there won't be more Avengers movies. They're not.
Really?
Yeah, allegedly.
What are they gonna call them?
Well,
Standalones?
they'll be standalones. They'll be like, I'm sure, the Young Avengers, and I mean, there'll be other
That's an
stuff.
Avengers movie?
But yeah, in terms of, I think he was kind of being creative with his language and saying like, oh well, the Avengers that we know, we're not going to have an Avengers like that anymore. But no, apparently they're leaning really heavy into
Oh God, I hope there's a Thunderbolts.
I hope so. And yeah, there'll still be team up stuff, but
Sadly,
they
Thunderbolt Ross died.
they seem to be, from the stuff that I've read, they seem to be going a little bit less in the direction of big team up building things like, building towards the Avengers or building towards Infinity War, and doing more stuff like what they did with Multiverse of Madness or Civil War, where they're movies that encompass several characters. There's not really necessarily a main character,
Right.
kind of thing.
I want a Wong movie.
Dude, he's so great.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
really,
yeah.
really like him.
Well, I'm glad that he got time
Yeah.
in this movie.
Yeah.
And I said this.
Yeah.
I said this after the first Doctor Strange, but I'm pretty sure Benedict Wong could kick the absolute shit out of Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, I'm sure. He's
Like,
built like a brick shithouse, man.
Dude looks like he could just trash.
Yeah.
him.
He turned up on an episode of the IT Crowd that I went back through and watched that on Netflix here when I was recovering from surgery.
Did you guys watch
And-
Marco Polo?
No.
He
No.
played Kublai Khan. It was awesome.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He had a couple of sword fights that were top notch.
Now that we've spoiled the entire movie for everybody, yeah, strong recommendation. Doctor Strange 2 was solid. It was one of the better Marvel movies I've seen probably ever, honestly. It had it grabbed me with a rewatchability that I felt very similar to Ragnarok. Of like, this is a movie that I would totally just sit down and turn on at a random time and enjoy the shit out of it.
Yeah. Now that we were talking about this earlier, a couple of days after the fact, or a week now, almost.
Yeah,
Is it? When did we see it?
Friday.
I saw it Friday.
yeah.
So a few days after the, basking in
The newness
afterglow
wears off.
Is off. Yeah, there were some flaws, but it holds up with Ragnarok or Winter Soldier.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. in my
I
eyes.
thought it was fun when they're going through all the different universes. Animated in one, paint in
the
another,
paint, yeah.
dinosaurs.
Uh-huh.
It was great.
It was cool. It was creative.
And
It was.
I didn't get why she could suddenly, like, once she could control her power, she could just, like, mega punch people.
Like I said, I think if
That
there's,
felt very girl powery.
they kind of dropped the ball a little bit in terms of her just overall development. But again,
I
it
don't-
was such an overstuffed movie that it was, where else do you put that in there? And from what I've seen, apparently Raimi had like 35 to 40 minutes of finished movie cut out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We haven't talked about Moon Knight.
So-
Are you guys?
I
done
haven't
with
finished
Moon Knight?
watching it yet.
Oh, you haven't finished it?
No.
Yeah, Tori and I finished it last week.
I need to.
So good.
There's not really anything to spoil, though. Like
It was
I feel like it would have been better, one, if Grooms would have played Moon Knight.
Everything-
As much as I liked Oscar Isaac, I still stand by that Stephen Grooms should have been Mark Spector. And I don't know. I wasn't... Like, everybody performed really well, but it felt like...
It was light on surprises.
Yeah. Raimi had to shoehorn in a bunch for Feige. Yeah, it sounds like that's the way
just
most of
that's
their
just part of the
movies
Marvel thing, and I don't know. I think that there is truth to that. I mean, obviously, when they lost Edgar Wright because Edgar Wright wanted Ant-Man to be less directly involved with the overall MCU, and that was like, no, that's not what we're doing. With whoa,
are. We're okay,
oh okay,
I think.
my screen just went black. There we
It
go.
happens.
Raimi had to shoot, yeah.
Middle-aged
Middle-aged fat Moon Knight.
It would have been better. Trust me.
I think that whole shoehorning things in, quote unquote, to use the way that Groomsy described it, it's kind of part of the nature, shall you say, nature of the beast with the Marvel stuff. And I honestly,
Like
You're kind of
Dragon-
stuck with.
like-
I kind of
the
think
dragon
it's
in
something
Shang-Chi.
people need to quit bitching about. It
Yeah.
kind of just comes with the territory. When you
It
do,
shouldn't, though.
when you do what they're-
look at how good Shang-Chi was for 2.5 acts, and then they throw that dragon fight in there. And I love that dragon fight. I think it's one of the cooler fights in Marvel, but it didn't belong in that movie.
But that wasn't commissioned by Feige, though.
Tough to say.
Everything is commissioned.
I mean,
by
everything
Feige.
goes through him.
He approves everything.
But
Everything to do with Marvel, anything.
I mean, take a look at everything that they did I think it was pre-Civil War, before they broke up the Marvel Creative Collective, the group of people that they had that was almost the end of Kevin Feige with Marvel, where he was like, look, this needs to fucking stop. I am the voice, not this room full of people. Look at how much better and more cohesively things connect now than they did back then. Look at Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 is a really, really great example of them just very, very obviously saying, no, you've got to have this in the movie, and you've got to have this in the movie, and you've got to have this in the movie.
We need Elon Musk in the movie.
There's a lot of that kind of shit. So what if it doesn't fit in the movie? It needs to be here because that's what we're doing. I think they do a lot better job of it now.
And he survived. Justin Hammer.
I was going to say, please tell me you're talking about Justin Hammer.
Justin Hammer.
Because Whiplash was shit.
I didn't dislike him either.
I thought I was very underwhelmed. I was very underwhelmed.
Where's my board?
I really, really hope they bring Justin Hammer back for more. I mean, not just because I love Sam Rockwell, but like, there's more stuff that could be done with that character. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to Armor Wars, maybe.
I haven't.
And I think Sam Rockwell's fantastic.
Yeah, I haven't really read much. I am not anywhere near as familiar with Moon Knight as I am with a lot of the other Marvel characters. A lot of what I've learned about him is like after the fact. I hope he is.
Yeah.
I really hope he's back for Armor Wars. I
hope it's not another thing that ends with us getting yet another sassy 15-year-old girl character.
Oh,
there's
the young girl that's Ironheart or whatever they call her.
Yeah. Riri Williams or whatever the fuck her name is. Like, we've already got Shiri. Now we've got America Chavez. They're bringing
Miss Marvel in.
We've got Ms. Marvel. Looks like it's going to be a complete abortion of a show just based on the trailer.
I have not been so underwhelmed for a Marvel property yet. This is the first one that I've seen that I'm just like, bleh.
Is she really?
Allegedly, yeah.
She's supposed to be in Black Panther too?
Mm-hmm. Allegedly.
Okay.
But I don't know. I've gotten to a point, especially Doctor Strange was one for me that you really, if you pay attention,
Girl Loki.
If you pay attention to
we've got Girl Thor,
the spoiler stuff that they talk about, behind the scenes about where they're planning on going with things and stuff. Like I said, 35, 40 minutes of Doctor Strange, it was cut. There's probably a lot of things that were in the plan. Fuck, Doctor Strange was supposed to come out before WandaVision.
Yeah, and when people talk about reshoots,
they're playing.
One of the reasons there had to be reshoots is because they had to move it in the timeline.
They're playing, kind of fast and loose with a little bit of stuff, and I don't want to say they're making it up as they go because they're definitely not. But they've got to be flexible and adaptable with stuff.
And Girl Thor is one of my least. One of the ones I have the least amount of problem with because one, it's Natalie Portman, and two, Mara's really excited.
I think she's just
to be Girl Thor for Halloween.
I think she's just going to be there to. I think the entire crux of the movie is Thor's trying to figure out his place and where he's going now post Endgame, and he's already having a little bit of an identity crisis. And then you find out that somebody else is also worthy of wielding the hammer.
Oh, and we've got fucking She-Hulk. Everybody's been replaced by a woman.
Lots of them.
A younger,
it's kind of crazy.
Girl version of
it's
themselves.
Really kind of crazy.
And it's like, do we really need a female version of everybody?
No. Frankly speaking, no, we don't.
Like, I get it.
And it's
everybody
not.
Doesn't have to be an old middle-aged white man, but you don't have to get rid of all of them.
No.
The only one who got whiter is Vision.
You know which movie I don't care about seeing?
No.
Is Captain Marvel 2.
No. I have...
not terribly interested.
We went and saw that in the theater, and Alex didn't care. It's the only one he won't rewatch.
If I have to watch the entire, like if I were to sit down to watch the entire, all the phases or whatever,
Yeah.
I'd still skip that one.
We did.
I
That wasn't
probably
even-
would
that
too,
wasn't even me
honestly.
being
I don't
an
think
asshole.
there's anything in it that I need to see.
There isn't.
Not really, no.
What's under the hand?
It's definitely skippable. And I honestly,
girls.
I didn't hate Captain Marvel as much as a lot of people. Like, I know I didn't hate it as much as you did, and I still didn't like it that much. But
Fury was all right. Well, my biggest problem was it was trying to be something it wasn't. And there was all of that, like, let's show all these people up, and it tried to be kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy, but if they would have let James Gunn direct it, at least the action scenes would have synced up with the music instead of it being so clunky. Like, nothing seemed to work.
I think
everything
that
just seemed disjointed, and it's bothersome.
Brie Larson is just so unlikable in general.
She is.
She just really is. And part of it, I mean, maybe part of it's on me because it is a little, that's one that I have a little bit of a hard time separating the art from the artist, because she's just so insufferable in real life and interviews and things that you see her talking.
That sounds like a personal attack.
But
They had Agent Coulson.
even her, just in real life versus the character, she's like a vacuum of charisma.
Yeah.
She's just not. I don't know. You want her to be tough but likable, and she came off as neither, really.
Yeah. I don't like her.
I haven't ever really been a particularly big fan of hers.
No, I've never had any interest. Well, okay, so
Has she
the
been in
one
it?
movie I enjoyed, but it was less because of her and more because of the story, was Room.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Was that movie? That movie succeeds almost in spite of her.
Yeah.
What's his name? The kid that was in that movie. He was fucking fantastic.
I don't think she could make a good
Story was
sex scene.
amazing.
Yeah.
She's just frigid. She comes off as frigid and
Probably
really
medically
genuinely unlikable.
She could be an Amber Heard type, maybe.
Oh man.
I don't
Speaking of which, when we were in Spokane on Sunday, I saw a pile of dog shit on the sidewalk. I was like, oh shit, Amber Heard was here.
Amber Heard was here. She only shits in beds, not sidewalks.
she won't give you the Cleveland steamer.
Yeah.
You're not a bed.
Is that trial, and forgive my ignorance here, is that still going on?
I think so. I haven't
Jesus
been
Christ.
keeping up here.
You were my
'Cause
source.
Yeah, you were my pipeline to all things Amber and Johnny.
I watched last week a little because Amber was on the stand and her stuff was fucking priceless.
You wanted to see her pretend
Yeah.
to cry while she
Because
snorted coke on the stand.
yeah,
Could you
she
believe
is
her
so
snorting
fucking
that
phony.
Coke out of the fucking Kleenex?
Was subtle.
On the stand.
Super subtle.
I don't know that.
Super
Was
subtle.
that on the stand? I thought that
Yeah,
was, I
no,
thought that
she was
at her
she was on
at
the stand.
her-
So her snorting coke on the stand and her like pausing and holding her pose so that they could take a picture of her. Those were both on par with me of just like, man, bitch. Woof.
Yeah, she's oh god, no. She is she's right in my wheelhouse for the type of gals I pick. Just
She's that kind of crazy.
yeah.
I mean, to be
She
fair,
should probably
to be
bear my next
to be
child.
totally fair, she is very easy on the eyes. I'll give her that. I will absolutely give her that. But
Oh, that fake crying shit though. I
dude,
can't do
oh
that.
my
I know.
god.
You'd think you could at least conjure up some real tears, or instead of Coke, you'd be snorting on some onions or
Well,
something.
I mean,
Like-
at least we can all three confidently say that we're probably better actors than she is.
I really dug the Rum Diary. I loved the
I
book.
didn't.
I loved the movie.
I didn't.
I turned that on the other day thinking I need to check this out, and it was kind of disjointed,
Meandering.
and
Oh,
there were
yeah,
some.
It's a Hunter S. Thompson.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but even more like, I don't know. I liked Where the Buffalo Roam, and I liked Fear and Loathing a lot.
Coconut.
It was
And-
just aimless, and it just, I don't know.
This one just felt
Didn't do it for
weird. I mean, Giovanni Ribisi, as always, delivers a great performance in that movie.
Yeah.
That dude
Richard Jenkins
can
was
fucking
hilarious.
act. Jenkins was good. There's good acting in it. I don't think there's bad acting.
no,
I just
there's-
think the story is
It
Out
just
of
didn't do
place.
it for me.
Did you not
It
read
was,
the book?
no.
No.
Oh, the book. It's almost a direct translation.
Translation
It's-
from the
yeah.
book.
Yeah, I think it's the only fiction he wrote. Well, I mean, that wasn't.
The real fiction.
the
that
only
wasn't
Yeah.
like full
his
tilt
loose
fiction.
fiction.
It's the only
Yeah.
novel he wrote.
Yeah.
I should say. Some of it was drug-induced fiction, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, not. I think I think that's one that I've only watched once. Not one that I was ever in a rush to rewatch. I don't know. It. I mean, you guys know me, and the amount of just fucking abhorrent shit that
It's
I watch.
funny, 'cause
But
you
it's
watch
got to
some
be
awful movies.
it's got to be entertaining. There's got to be some kind of hook, whether it's a good movie or a shit movie. There's got to be something that keeps you engaged, and that movie didn't have anything that really kept me. Like I said, meandering, disjointed was a good word for it. I think it just was kind of a story that happened for an hour and a half, and then it was done. It didn't. I don't know.
Yeah, there wasn't really. They weren't real. They didn't feel like there were stakes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit about the failure or success of the newspaper.
No.
Right.
Tori and I had
I
one.
don't think there are any stakes in that movie.
Shit,
It's
I
just
think-
kind of. It's almost a.
It's like one
like Big
person's.
Lebowski.
It's one person's experience over a period of time.
You just
Only
kinda
poorly
drift into
made.
this guy's
Yeah.
life and then drift out of it at the end.
Yeah. I think Tori is only listening. I don't think she's like watching, so I don't know that she can comment. But we had one that she's got this house. A friend of hers' grandmother or something was a fucking full tilt hoarder. Like, Jesus Christ, it's fucking scary. But she's been helping the friend clean the place out, and one of the things that she found was a one of those 6 movies on a disc. And they're all really shitty movies kind of thing. And we were going to watch one that sounded really interesting, and I'm blanking on the name of it now. But 15, 20 minutes in, like, man, I'll give it a try. But if it doesn't matter if it's a fucking good movie or a bad movie. If you don't hook me, I've gotten to a point, I try not to turn stuff off, but I will. I absolutely will.
Yeah.
If I'm
I turn
bored,
stuff off
if
now.
I'm bored, fuck that. I don't have enough time in the day.
No, I'll just watch Shooter again. I
Even
don't
if
give a fuck.
shitty or fantastic, like for Avatar 2,
I do not care.
don't give a fuck, not a single hot shit. Talk about a movie sequel. You want to talk about how they shouldn't be making sequels and like
That-
reboot sequels to stuff that came out in the
It was
80s?
13 years ago now.
Yeah,
We're
why
talking.
the fuck are we getting a sequel now? And who the fuck cares?
There was less time that Pat. Okay, so he did Terminator 84,
Yeah,
and then Terminator 2 was what, 92?
92.
8 years felt like a
93,
fucking
something.
eternity
Yeah.
to be doing a sequel, and that worked.
Yep.
But 13 years? Fucking give me a break. Who is wanting or waiting for this?
Who was
that? That
No one's
story.
asking for this movie.
That story had better be goddamned phenomenal, and it will not be
it will
because
be as generic
there
as
is
the first one.
Someone brought it up at
unobtainium
coffee the other morning, and I was like,
at stake in that story.
yeah, you mean
What's
Avatar,
under
like,
what's
the-
underwater?
Those movies are
Fuck.
the film equivalent, and oh man, Martin Scorsese and I'd get along really good with this because this was his view on the MCU stuff. Avatar 1 and what they appear to be doing with the sequel is the film equivalent of a fucking theme park ride.
Yeah,
There is nothing there. Just look at it for a little while because ain't it pretty? And then you're done.
If I want the last of the
Fuck.
fucking Fern Gully story. I'll go watch fucking
Dude, yeah,
The Last
it's-
Samurai.
Yeah.
Or Fern Gully.
Or Fern Gully.
For that fucking matter.
Or
No.
Dances with Wolves. Or insert name here.
I will go watch The Last Samurai. That's my go-to for that story.
Fuck those movies.
Dude,
I have...
Last Samurai's so good. Billy Connolly's a
they
fucking
kept
hero.
they kept talking, and he's been talking about, like, I guess
Did you ever see Fido?
in some, dude, I love Fido. That's such a fucking fun movie. It's such a fun movie. What is this? Avatar? They are fighting about cocaine, and then she poops in his bed. So, you know, that's probably a more inventive story than what they've come up with. But I guess one of the things that Cameron talked about in regards to why it's taken so long to get the sequel for Avatar 2
Is he masturbating all the while he's talking about it? Because
well,
I feel like he's got to be
exploring
masturbating.
the Marianas Trench and
Anyway,
everything while he's doing it. Do you guys know how much I love water? Because I really love big bodies of water. Like big bodies of water. The bigger the body, the better. I want big water. Like, whoa.
Well, cold. Because we're in water,
Yeah,
James.
right.
We're in water again.
But I
son
guess
of a whore.
they had a lot of issues in terms of figuring out how to do the CG in a way that he was satisfied with underwater.
Because he was so busy satisfying himself.
And
I don't know. I saw
he has-
nothing in that trailer.
you know he has plans for 5 of them, right?
Yeah, fuck that dude. What is wrong with him? Is he?
Like-
I think he's like the dude
think
made
he's-
Titanic, and I'm not like
I
I,
think
don't
he's-
jerk it over over Titanic.
yeah, you do.
Too far up his own ass.
still
I
now.
haven't seen
guess.
it. I feel like one of those dudes who's like, I've never seen a Star Wars movie.
Did I ever tell you
I've
about
never
the
watched
time-
a Marvel movie, but I really have never seen Titanic.
You're not missing much.
Did I ever
What-
tell you about the time I went to I guess you'd call it an unofficial house party, and they had Titanic on in the background, and I just put on an acting performance as though I had never seen the movie before?
No.
It was so much fun. So much fun. Because everybody that was there could not comprehend the fact that I had never seen it. And because I knew things that were coming, I really leaned into, no way! You know, that kind of, oh, God. It was a fun night.
Who's this Billy Zane motherfucker?
Yeah, it's like, dude,
he's gonna just he's gonna
Yeah.
get on the boat.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It was we were all just sitting around drinking, and they had this going, and like people were playing cards and stuff. And oh man, it was a fun night, and I just played pretend the whole time. And then when the movie was over, I was like, yeah, just so you guys know, like I saw this movie in the theater. I was just fucking with you all.
Well, it's pretty.
But we all had
like,
so
I
much
knew the
fun.
ending,
It enriched
so why did I?
the watching of the movie by so much. It was fun. Really good time. That was like probably 2 years before Matthew was born. But no,
to the bar.
I almost wonder if James Cameron hasn't spent too much time in deep sea depths and hasn't like done some sort of like
He's made some nice
minor brain damage or something.
I don't know.
Well, he's got a hard on for the fucking
I don't
Tall
know.
Smurfs.
Avatar shit, but
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I don't either.
He's Gargamel. He wants to eat some Smurf.
I do not get it.
And the trailer, or whatever you want to call it, the teaser.
Just didn't do anything for me.
I was next.
I was not-
fortress.
And I wanted. Oh man, yeah. Somebody call Vin Diesel.
Just waiting.
Fast 11 is going to be the Avatar Fast and Furious crossover. They're not just going to space anymore. They're going to fucking Pandora, folks.
He's already got cars in space.
Yeah, I know.
He can get there.
Submacars.
But yeah, man, talk about underwhelming. Like that trailer started, and my first thought was, man, an Avatar sequel. They're really making it. They really made it. And then I watched the rest of the trailer, and I was like,
Why?
I want to know who the fuck cares about this.
Who is the target?
Why
audience?
isn't this direct to video?
Like,
Fucking
who gives a shit, really?
the millions
Are people
he's
literally
poured into this too?
because I will the one thing of credit that I will give him is, of all the 3D movies that I've seen in a theater, the whole experience of the way that the 3D was done in Avatar is better than all other 3D movies I've seen combined.
I agree.
It was very well done.
When I saw
very well
Avatar the first time, it was one of those movies that I walked away from thinking, "Oh, that was all right."
See, I didn't. I walked away and I was like, man, that was really fucking cool. And that movie was basic as...
Well, and so, but I watched, I see so many basic movies anymore that it's so,
Fair.
like, it's hard to fucking
Fair.
decide,
Where to
especially
draw the
leaving the theater. Like, you're running on that little high as you're walking out the door, too. It's like, that was really cool. That's really great. Yeah, like, I enjoyed it. But at the same time, diminishing returns upon revisiting it.
Never rewatched it.
Oh, don't.
Never
Me too.
rewatched it. Never. I think the closest I came was my parents were watching it, and I.
The dialogue is terrible.
Yeah.
It's like a 6-year-old wrote the fucking dialogue. And
is
Sigourney
unobtainium
Weaver
a real
is just
thing?
Unobtainium is in that movie.
Yeah.
I love
like
that is what they called it.
That is just.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that that's what they called it.
MacGuffin-tanium was taken, or like.
Yeah, I mean, fuck.
They called it Pandorium.
Right.
I just thought of that just now. But that's
And
the
it's
name of the
already
planet.
better than unobtainium.
So I got a text today.
Oh, is this
Out of the blue, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I knew exactly what you were
chat bot?
doing as soon as I read it. And I was like, yeah, Ward.
So, yeah.
I knew exactly what you were doing.
Yeah, so I get this text, and it just says, it opens up with, "Hi, Mike. I remember the beauty products you introduced me to last time at the beauty store. I'll check them out tomorrow when I have time. Please reserve a seat for me." So, random text, random person, don't know who it is. I say, "Sure thing, Teresa." Then the person responds, "I'll be there tonight, so remember to save me a spot." So they were just talking about being there tomorrow. I said, "I saved you two in case you want to bring a friend." Winky face.
Winky face.
Then they go, "What saved us both? I will go to your salon tonight to see the products." I go, "Tonight, tomorrow. I'm good either way. Would you do me a big favor, though? Do you have something going on? You can add me on WhatsApp and say." And then they give me a number. I said, "I just need my son Jameson picked up from the hospital. Like I told you last time we spoke in person, he's been on the mental floor for the past month or so. They say they haven't really gotten his medication to stabilize his violent behaviors yet, but he hasn't really improved, and the insurance won't cover his care anymore. If you could just pick him up on the way to the salon, I'd sure appreciate it. They said they'd leave the straitjacket on so you won't have to worry about him taking the steering wheel or anything." Then they go, "What is it? I don't remember us talking about this." And I said, "I know I told you about Jameson eating my neighbor's face. He seasoned it with Old Bay and everything. Had to have him committed for a while. He's real aggressive for a 2-year-old. And then no response.
I was going to say that was the end of
That
that was
was
the
the
last
end,
I'd
yeah.
seen. Are you willing to take a little bit of criticism here?
Oh, sure.
Slow play it a little more. You escalated it, in my unprofessional opinion, a little bit too quickly. I think you really could have got this motherfucker with some good shit.
You went straight to 11.
You went to 11 real fast. I don't get me wrong, I still laughed my ass off about it, but
I got one today that was just a thing about one of the governor candidates for Idaho blaming a rape victim for something and praising the person who raped her. And I just responded with "new phone, who dis?"
high five. That's fucking great.
I was like, this could be somebody I know, but I don't know. And they didn't respond.
Oh, shit.
And that was, and like you said, slow play it. But
Yeah,
I
man.
think he got responses.
You got to let that one simmer for. I couldn't believe that they responded
The straight jacket.
the thing about
before you even said ate my
being
neighbor's
like,
steak.
we didn't talk about this. I couldn't believe you got that response, which again, and this is why I say it. The fact that they responded to that tells me that, man, you could have just, you could have had some.
Oh no, I could have.
But how much of your day do you want to invest in that shit? Really,
I could have laid a few more like little foundational things,
totally.
like vagaries.
You remember
to string
Jameson?
it
You
up.
met him at the Christmas party last year,
Right.
like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
He was the kid who pissed on your shoes.
Sees it, you.
Like,
I know I call him my kid, but he's actually an adopted
oh
Parisian
man,
monkey.
no, that
Or Capuchin monkey.
I never get shit like that at all.
Oh, I've probably got viruses crawling all over my phone or some shit.
yeah.
But,
Yeah, I don't watch porn on my phone.
but-
Oh man, that might be my new favorite moment of the show right there. Anybody hear that? Anybody hear that pin drop? Because holy shit! Oh my god, that was fucking funny. Oh man, Incognito tabs, man. Come on. What are you doing to me here? Oh fuck, that was well played, Chris. That was fucking funny. That was really funny.
New phone. Who did?
That's good. What? I don't have a clock on this. What?
oh, it's about time to roll.
I was gonna say, what time is it?
6:55,
Almost 7?
yeah.
That was a good way to end it.
That's it. I don't think we're gonna find a better ending than that.
And Ward got real quiet.
I don't just watch porn on my phone. No, what I was going to say, since we've been outed here, what I was going to say was I have a tablet for a reason. The screen is bigger.
Bigger.
Yeah.
Then I remembered that my son might still be listening, and I was like, I'm going to be quiet like Ward.
Well, thanks for all four of you for tuning in.
Oh, this has been fun.
Moxie, Groomsy.
I did talk to you guys. Annabelle has a concert on the 24th, so I am not available for the next show unless we do it on a different day. Just FYI.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know why they planned it for that day, but my coworkers are all, well, I wouldn't say pissed, but my coworkers were like, "Are you coming to the food truck tonight? We're all going." And I was like, "Oh man, I'm going to be the new guy who blows off everybody because I have a prior engagement," but whatever. Apparently it was going to be raining anyway. Yeah, they do the Lewiston food truck thing up at the fairgrounds. It's I believe it's the second Tuesday of every month from like May until September or something like that.
That started up again.
Why
Huh?
would
Yeah.
they need to do that? We've got a food truck alley now.
So, okay.
Are those food trucks coming up here? for
Yes,
that?
they are, for one, and for two, dude, that parking lot was fucking packed at like 3:30 when I was on my way back to the office. So I'm interested to see what the turnout was for the food truck night, because apparently the food truck day was successful.
Shit.
But no, there's some good that. Shout out to Mind Your Biscuits and Gravy. If you guys haven't tried their food,
I haven't.
it's outstanding.
I
It is.
hear, that's all I've
Oh,
heard.
they come sit by my house, and so we
It
order
is
them regularly.
totally worth trying.
they
It's
really?
it's some good ass food.
They're,
Well, so
they're right over by A&B
they were
on the weekend.
the little
on
strip
Saturday.
mall thing there that had like Gamer's Edge and the train store and whatnot. And my dog groomer, Shiva's groomer, used to be in that little strip mall. That was how I first found them.
They're on the other side of the road. They're on the other side of the road now.
Yeah.
They're in the old
Oh, so you don't even have to cross
bank
the
parking lot. No, and
Yeah.
I can punch in my order on my phone and then go over there and just pick
Dude,
it up.
if you're looking for some breakfast food to try out, give them a shot. It's
Way too far up here.
It's real
And they
natural.
put
True.
they go downtown too.
Do they?
There's they
Downtown's
have a
right.
schedule.
Downtown's
I didn't
right.
know that.
They have a rotation that they do.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's bomb because it's some good ass food.
because they're not always up here. But
I call that the helicopter, the rotation. Helicopter. Dick joke. I don't do those very often anymore. I'm too old for dick jokes, but every once in a while I'll drop one.
Oh, nobody's ever too old for dick jokes.
Weed and dick and fart jokes.
Yep.
I'm looking real.
You don't got to be smart to laugh at them, but you'd have to be stupid not to.
No, that my chef Steph, I guess, is doing a food truck now too,
No shit.
and she has fantastic food.
I've heard. I haven't actually tried it, but I've heard that her food is fantastic.
Not a fan of the new zucchini noodles. We tried those last.
I don't
night
like
because
zucchini noodles in general, personally. but-
Zoodles.
Mom got too much food
That's
this last
just-
week, and so she brought over the meatballs and zucchini noodles, and even Mara was like, "Those are not noodles, Daddy." And I was like, "I know, sweetie."
I'm sorry,
She ate
baby.
the shit out of the meatballs. But
Thursday and Friday, they're at 1563 Main Street.
I could do that.
Shit, that's
And
Thursday
Saturday
and
and
Friday.
Sunday, they're up here.
it's down by like Dutch Brothers and stuff, isn't it?
From what time to what time?
8 to 11.
Nice. Yeah, it's some
swing through there on my way.
good food, man.
And you can order online at mindyourbiscuitslcv.com. They're our sponsor now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's
Hey,
what
we mentioned you.
That's what we. That's
Swing by there Friday.
That's what
and
we
say,
really
hey, we
need
mentioned you on our
to
show.
look into. We need to quit having my girlfriend just feed us for fun and start having real sponsorships where we pimp out people's quality LCV food. There's, I will say there is a really impressive amount of growth in the restaurant and food industry in this area over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I'm
It's all mom and pop shit.
we're
but
going
a lot of it is
overtime a little
good.
bit, but I'm disappointed that other building they're building down on 21st is another Zips.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Who the fuck wants that?
Like I like Zips okay, but we don't need two in Lewiston. I was actually hoping to be an A&W.
As much as I like Zips, their salt
They're
content,
cheese curds, dude.
Their salt
I just
content
want
is too
A&W
weird.
solely for the cheese curds. Their
Oh,
salt
did
content.
You
Not-
watch that poutine video? I
Not
put up
not
the
my
other day?
thing, but
Yes, I actually watched that
Did you watch
poutine
that
video,
dude
and then I
make
made my
cheese
son
curds?
watch the poutine video, and I watched him. Yes,
That dude made his
watch
own,
this.
He made his own cheese curds.
yeah. Well,
That's-
I've
yeah.
made my own cheese curds by leaving milk in the fridge too.
That
Too
doesn't
long,
count,
but
homie.
but no, I mean
That's
it's
a
the same.
mistake.
That's doing it the old-fashioned way.
Because the way he's separating the curds and whey in there, I was like, I've seen that before.
I've seen that.
No, I'm a big fan of all these mom and pop food trucks.
That
Dude, that
comment
fucking
better
what is that? The guy that runs the place, his name is Stacy, but it's like a rib shack or something like that. They have a food truck set up usually at that spot. Some of the best fucking ribs I've ever had. They're like amazing. Jesus,
Racist.
they're too- wow,
God damn.
man. Oof.
Swing and a miss.
Oof. See, now we got to end on a Zips joke instead of Ward and I awkwardly admitting that we watch porn on our phones.
My biggest problem with Zips is the restaurant. Is their salt content is so random.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like sometimes you'll get a burger and it's perfect. Other times it's not. There's no salt in it. And then other times it's like they went to a salt mine and got it fresh, and there's a whole brick in there.
it's just.
And you're like, wait just a goddamn minute.
I think it's a Family Guy reference where they're kind of playing off of the Tony the Tiger thing, and instead of being they're great, it's their food. That's how I feel about Zips. It's food. I can put it in my body and not die.
It'll
and,
make a turd.
and that's about the extent of it. Yeah.
When we started the podcast, shortly after starting the podcast, Zips had just opened.
Yeah.
And so we have a whole thing where we're talking about Zips on there. And we were excited because,
It was new.
well, and we didn't do Zips very much anywhere else. But
Yeah.
then I think I'd had it a couple times in Moscow. But they were really generous with the fries and shit when they first, we called them bottom of the bag fries. 'Cause
Yeah,
they
yeah.
just filled
Yeah.
the
Bag
bottom
fries,
of the
man.
bag.
Bag
Bag
fries.
fries, like-
Fuck yeah.
They just
Bag
filled
fries
that whole
all day.
sucker up.
Yeah.
It was like
When we were kids, we literally would like
Fight over
it was
bag
a
fries.
race. People argued for shotgun. Fuck no, we argued for bag
But
fries.
that was like they'd like put the thing in the bag and then just dump.
And just
and
fill
then
the
just
fry-
throw
I
them in
remember
there.
that shit.
It only went on for about a year.
Yeah,
and
because
then
they
they
were fucking going bankrupt.
then
on
they
potatoes.
pulled it back as like somebody got in there and was like, our food costs really sucks right now,
It's like the liquor
on
costs out at
fries.
the lodge.
Yeah, no shit.
They got
fuck.
bitches dumping fries in bags.
All right.
Oh, all right. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time.
Yeah.
Lots of love.
Later.
Take care of each other
Bow, now, now, now.
and surf to this beautiful music.